Welcome everyone, this is Poor Imagination and this is a new video. Merry Christmas and upcoming New Year. This video took way too long to make because I thought that I'm going to release it in 2 weeks, but turned out it's been almost a month. It's because I've been playing Endwalker and I've been enjoying it way too much, as well as patch 601. I didn't expect to add the patch 601 here, but I will talk a little bit about it. So yeah, enjoy! Today's video is going to be about Endwalker expansion in general, all the things that I've experienced so far. Minuscule, normal raids, which are 6.1 contents, leveling, changes to classes and such things. There are quite a lot of changes and I'm not going to list all of them here. I'll just shortly talk about each topic for a little bit and make it as a somewhat of a general video where I cover everything I've experienced a little bit. Let's say it like that, yeah. The expansion is good overall and main story quest was actually pretty good, and it's kind of feels bad that main story ended the way it ended, but at the same time I am kind of happy that it finally ended. Like, thank God we needed it to end because I feel like I couldn't take it anymore. It was dragging for way too long and we need new stuff in. Hopefully there's going to be such a good story next time in the next patches. This one will be completely overshadowed because Endwalker's story was actually like pretty good in my opinion. It was even better than Shadowbringer's Stormblood story. Nah, that wasn't good whatsoever in my opinion. But yeah, I'm not gonna talk about Endwalker's story that much because I still think it's spoilers, even though it's been like 3.5 weeks. I still think it's kind of spoilers because not everyone as fast as I am or somebody else. Even though I watched every single cutscene, I finished the game in like 2.5 days. I was completely done. I was playing like 16 hours a day, just spending all my time watching story and reading all the dialogues and stuff like that. It was actually super enjoyable. But yeah, I'm gonna keep it short to make sure that I don't spoil anything. Maybe I'll leave Endwalker's story like to another video or some sort. I hope that you like my Christmas tree, by the way. Speaking of class changes, first I'm gonna talk about tanks. And tanks got it really good in terms of mitigation. Especially 2 out of 4 classes. Warrior and Gunbreaker. Warrior got Bloodweighting, Gunbreaker got Heart of Corundum. While Paladin got Holy Sheltron, which is decent. Dark Knights are on suicide watch. They just wanna die, and not just jokingly, because Oblation didn't bring them any self-sustain. Bloodweighting is beyond bonkers. Heart of Corundum is still good. Holy Sheltron is super good mitigation wise, but it's like lower on self-healing, while Paladin still got Clemency, and now they can also heal themselves while casting holy stuff, which is pretty fine. Although I gotta say about Oblation, it's still a good cooldown and you can give it to anyone. It's like 10% damage mitigation to anyone on top of the Blackest Knight, which is still big shield. While Paladin got Holy Sheltron's like super big mitigation, decent regen. But yeah, 2 out of 4 tanks got it really good, especially in healing department. Meanwhile, in the DPS department, we've got ourselves a new melee DPS, Reaper, the edgy boy, and the amount of edge they have is comparable to Dark Knight, and sometimes, especially like LB3, is even better in terms of edginess than Dark Knight is, which is a pretty super cool concept. Although I have to admit that Samurai does insane damage, and Monk does a good damage as well. Though Reaper is still good in terms of damage, is like very close to those two. It's pretty good. Reaper is a dream of every edgy teenager because it's got all the dark stuff. All the abilities are just over the top. The dark aura, super blackness, everything is just explodes with just blasts everywhere. It's aesthetically well done. It's a super cool class. Every edgy boy is happy. Everybody's playing it to test it out. It does like I said, good damage. It has a raid buff. Overall, it's a super nice class. I'll maybe try it someday, but it looks really, really cool. And Limit Break 3, wow, Limit Break 3 just looks giga cool. I like it. It's turbo blasting class, enjoyable to play, enjoyable to see. I don't mind it at all. I couldn't be much more happier with a new class than I think I am right now. About the second new class, Sage, I didn't like it that much. It just aesthetics don't appeal to me whatsoever. Looks cool and stuff, has some interesting abilities, but just aesthetics too much of a turn off for me. It has some cool tools with a shield that can reapply itself, like a damage mitigation that you use and you don't have to stand inside of it, which is comparable to White Mage. Pretty nice class. Just not for me. I think that Scholar is much more solid in this regard than Sage is, although everybody happy to play Sage and I don't mind it at all. I just think that Scholar is just better, but that's just me. So yeah, that's just me. Now for the existing classes that got changes and that I like to play, which are Bard, Red Mage, Black Mage, and Summoner. I like 2 out of the 4, which is Red Mage and Black Mage, but Bard and Summoner, I don't like them, and I'll explain why. Changes to Bard are just plain bad, in my opinion, and Bard really needs work on it. It's not fun to play. I'll explain in depth right after I say that Summoner, with its rework, is super boring. It looks like cool, you get to summon stuff, but like, that's about it. The rotation is boring. It's very repetitive. There are no dots. There's no fun. So, like, what can I say? Summoner used to be weird. It was a class that couldn't find its identity. A class with a mobility, dot, burst, sustain damage, pad damage, all the kind of stuff. It was just like bits and pieces put together into a class, which just kind of felt like it didn't function together, but still there was a skill ceiling to it. There was quite a lot of optimization and I really liked it. And now all of it is gone. Basically, Summoner is physical ranged right now, but deals more damage while not having buffs to compensate for utility that physical ranged usually provides outside of Machinists. We don't talk about Machinists. Machinist does different kind of stuff. But yeah, like, I miss Old Summoner. Old Summoner, like, especially when you got to the fights where you could use your double dotting and triple dotting, like E7S was pretty good on Odd Phase where you could just spread all your dots around, and the Epic of Alexander where you got to play into double target damage for the first 2 phases, which was super enjoyable, and it shared the sentiment with the Bard where you could just double target extremely well, and now all of it gone, and it feels really not great. That's what I think about it. And sort of the same with the Bard, but the Bard issues go way deeper than that. While Bard changes, they really don't look like there are that many to them, but they are very significant in the way where they change how the class plays. The first change is that your dots no longer proc your song effects, and it's just 80% chance flat when your song plays. Every 3 seconds you either get a proc or you don't get a proc, which is very boring. I used to like this part of Bard where you just get showered with the procs if you get good RNG and all this kind of stuff. It was just Feast of Famine gameplay, and that was really exciting to me. I just felt like if the RNG is in your favor, you're just DPS god. And right now, while you consistently do a little bit more damage in your burst phase, especially like in level 70 content, your opener is extremely strong. Overall, it feels really like whack. You noticed probably that I talk quite a bunch about bar changes. I just used to play Bard for such a long time, and now all the changes make me to just kind of stop playing the job. Like this thing with procs being on the song instead of dots also makes it so your last 3 seconds of the song are just 3 dead seconds. You don't get any procs anymore. While before that, you would try to play your song for as long as possible, except for the last third song, to get this last opportunity to get procs from Pitch Perfect or Mage's Ballads to reset Bloodletter, and now you can just cut your song early. And yeah, also the way that Bloodletter resets proc now, it's kind of like you only get half of the reset compared to what it used to be. And now Mage's Ballad is the weakest song of them all, because Army's Peon, fully stacked Army's Peon, is higher potency per minute than Mage's Ballad is. So your songs are basically like 42, 43 seconds, 32, 34 seconds, and 42, 43 seconds again on the last song, which makes Bard terrible to play. And there's also OGCD drifting with Imperial Arrow because of how the third song works, which makes you like being really angry about it. I don't understand why they had to make all of these changes. All in all, outside of those, the other things are kind of fine. I guess I don't like the fact that Quick Knock doesn't reset Reign of Death and Bloodletter anymore. Instead you get Shadow Bite proc, which is GCD damage, and the dots are really weak right now. Basically dots will be gone next expansion, watch it. I called it here, everybody called it earlier or right now. Bard is going to change what at all. I don't like these changes. I am most likely quitting Bard as soon as possible. And yeah, but I will move on. One topic that I also wanted to mention is how many server issues there were as soon as the Endwalker started, how many crashes there been, how many times they had to restart the servers. I don't know. And then after 3 weeks they released a statement about how it's all the fault of hardware crisis that we are getting, like silicon crisis and all this kind of stuff, even though Taiwanese semiconductor company some time ago released a statement about the fact that they are back to normal production levels and the other companies are more or less back to normal production levels. And now it's not really hardware, it's logistics mostly and other issues. So mostly blaming it on crisis wasn't the best thing, although I appreciate them finally coming up to players and explaining like, guys, we are struggling, but we are willing to fix it as soon as possible. So yeah, that is like pretty decent. And also the fact that they blamed us for error 2002 is kind of whack. After like people spent hours upon hours trying to filter packets and everything, they finally found out that 2002 error is actually on the server side and it's related to 1.0 code, which is still in the game after 8 years, which is funny. But they already fixed it in 601 and hopefully the issue will not come back again. So yeah, that's just like a small sidetrack. Also, there is a funny picture of my friend being stuck in the World Wizard queue for 10 hours. That is something, yeah. But hey, we are getting free time because all of these issues. We are getting 21 days of playtime for free. Although I wonder how people that got stuck in queues, which do work daily from 9 to 5, feel about it. They don't need your free time, they already paid for it. They need to access the game instead. Oh well, what's done is done, we're getting free time, boys. Although the whole situation led to Square Enix taking off advertisement and stop to sell the game on every single platform, which produced pretty funny memes. And Yeah, I kinda like them. Last but not least, there are normal raids now. The fact that this video took a little bit longer to make, also I went and thought like, hey, I'm gonna take a couple days more instead of recording this earlier, and I'll include normal raids in here, which is why I'm doing it right now. So yeah, normal raids were released, and I think they are fine, although they're not inventive at all. The story setup about it is okay, but in the first place it looks fine, but as soon as you get inside, you find the bosses and you can like, could have been better, I guess, but oh well, it is what it is. They reused quite a bunch of mechanics, even though the first and second boss are actually like pretty decent-ish. The third and the fourth boss, they are just, oh man, they are reused. The third boss is basically a combination of A11S and T12, and the fourth boss is a mix of O3S, which feels kind of weird. Like, guys, it feels like you just went with a, oh well, Coil and Alexander been so long ago there is barely anyone who remembers them. We do, Square Enix. We do remember them. It's not like all of your veterans quit to play the game. Oh well, it can be helped, what can I say? I hope that in Savage versions they're going to be so much better. And yeah, I'll report that to you at some point as soon as I'm done with them. And I guess this is all that I wanted to talk about. This is the whole video. I got a new mic, if you could notice, and also the sound quality is probably much better than it used to be. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching. I hope you liked it. What I wanted to say is that, again, Merry Christmas and happy upcoming New Year. I hope you have fun while your holiday happens and while you're playing Endwalker or whatever you're doing. This has been Poor Imagination, and I'll see you in the next video. Also, leave a comment what you think about the game right now. I'm gonna read it and I'm going to reply to it. Bye bye and have a good one.